Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of FabFit Friday. I have a whole bunch of things that I'm working on. You can see behind me, I am working on another one of my shirt jackets. This is a flannel version for my dad for his birthday, and I'm actually pretty embarrassed that it's not finished since his birthday was on the 9th, but I'm going to finish it over the weekend and give it to him. Part of my process for that is going to be doing embroidered buttonholes, and I'm teaching an embroidered buttonhole class for pattern review next week. I think it's on the 25th. I will put a link to that in the description below if anyone's interested in learning how to use their embroidery machine to embroider buttonholes. I will say that it really is so much easier than sewing them on your sewing machine, because you're not relying on the feed dogs to feed the fabric back and forth. So it is kind of cool. Hey Mary. Mary, I thought of you in the mirror when I was looking at my shirt. I'm like, oh, Mary's going to be happy. I really have to say I am embracing the red. I've had my red glasses. I have my red top. I'm kind of excited. The one thing I'm annoyed about is my new sports bra has these bumps here, and they show if I'm not exactly adjusted right, but I'm pretty happy with my red. All right, so the other thing I'm doing is I'm working on finishing the instructions for the new Frenchy jeans that I'm going to launch next month. I'm kind of excited about that. And then the rest of the time I've been teaching pants fitting for Fabric Mart Fabrics, and I'm teaching Sunday the second class. I taught the first class last weekend, and I have another full class in February. So instead of trying to manufacture something new to share with you during FabFit Friday, I am so excited to tell you I got the permission of one student to let me show you her pictures so I can show you how I would go about fitting her fit muslin. And then I drew line drawings of another muslin in progress, and I'm going to talk about that as well. So I'm kind of excited. I have two different examples to show you in pants fitting, and maybe some of it will speak to you in your journey for fitting your pants. Hi Jerry, welcome. Oh, she likes plaid. I know. I've had this plaid fabric in my stash for a long time, and I have to say, it's a really heavyweight flannel. Like, it's not quite a coat weight flannel, but it's pretty, it's pretty substantial, so I'm kind of excited about this. And I will be finishing it. I'll post pictures when it's finished in my Facebook group. I'll get my dad to model it for me, and I'll take a picture. So I'm kind of excited about that. All right, so that's all I'm going to talk about with that. And I'm really excited because I figured out a new way to share photos with you instead of showing them to you on my phone. I think you're going to be happy. Let me just stop and say hello to everybody. Hi, Janie. Welcome. Hi, Debbie. I'm so happy you found me, too. Hi, Justine. Oh, you love the jacket. This will be a pattern coming out soon, but I have to finish the Frenchy jeans first. All right, and then Pat's here. Hi, Pat. Oh, Pat's in my pants fitting class. I'm so happy you are enjoying it. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining me. And there is another person chiming in, but I'm afraid to pronounce their name. Olesumbo. Hi, hi. Hi, hi. I hope I did not completely slaughter your name. I'm really bad with foreign languages. I almost got kicked out of Spanish in high school. I couldn't roll my R's, and the teacher called my mother and told her that she would pass me as long as I promised not to take Spanish 4 as a senior. So I'm really bad with pronouncing things, so I apologize. All right, so here's what I'm going to do. This is really exciting. I'm going to start with a line drawing that I drew, and basically what I did was I imported some pants fitting pictures into my Illustrator, Adobe Illustrator, and I drew right on them. So what I'm going to be sharing with you now is the actual shape and the actual position of the horizontal and vertical. Um, I can show you the picture and I can have my work here and then you guys can see what's happening. All right, so this is the front view of a pants fitting muslin. And what I want you guys to look at here is the vertical grain line is not going straight up and down. And some of that could be the stiff muslin that was used to make this muslin. But I also think there's some things going on that we can fix. And what I want to do is show you all the views. So that's the front view. Here is the side view. And from the side, what I want you to notice is it's very subtle, but the back is not subtle. Okay, so notice how in the front, the hip line, the top horizontal line, which is the hip line, it's bowing up towards the center front a little bit, and then it's really bowing up in the back, and it's not parallel to the floor. Then you have the crotch level and upper thigh level lines. Those are the two lines below it, and it's very subtle, but they are pointing slightly downward, meaning they're not 100% parallel to the floor. And the dashed line is the side seam, and that is angling towards the back at the waist. All right, so that's how it looks from the side. Now let me show you in the back. Okay, so the hip line is bowing up at the center back, and the vertical grain lines are a little bit closer to center, to the side seam, I'm sorry, to the inseam than they are center in the leg. So this muslin is, you know, it's almost fit. It really does look good on her, but I want to do some fine tuning here. So let me back up to the side view again. And the first thing I want to talk about is that horizontal balance line that's up at the top. It's the one that would be up at the full hip area. And if you are, I just want to show you something here, because that might not be a fitting issue. It might be a just the way she drew it issue, or just the way you would draw it issue. So what I want to do here is I want to just draw the vertical grain line, and the crotch line, crotch level is perpendicular to that vertical grain line, and the upper thigh line is also parallel or perpendicular to the vertical grain line. But what is not perpendicular is the hip line. The hip line needs to be parallel to this waist edge. So in order for it to look straight across when you're wearing it, it needs to be perpendicular here. I'm sorry, parallel to here, not perpendicular to this. So what you would do is you would measure down on your side seams to whatever the level of your full hip is. So let's say it's here. So let's say I measured that. Now on here it's 2 3/8, but that would probably be like 7 or 8 inches, whatever. You have to measure the same amount over here at your center back, and you connect those lines, and what that's going to do is it's going to give you a horizontal guideline that is not perpendicular to the vertical, but when you sew up this center back seam, it's going to make it straight across, okay, because it's parallel to this. So her back horizontal line might be a little bit peaked up because maybe she made it parallel, or it could be that it is a fitting issue. But I just wanted to explain to you how to draw your balance lines on your muslin, because you really can use those to help fit your pants. So that's the issue number one I wanted to share. Now, the other thing that we can see from the side view here is, again, those vertical, the vertical seam line is angling towards the back, and also the two crotch and thigh lines are going down across the side seam slightly, so they're kind of pulling down a little bit in the back. One thing that can cause this is it may be that she still has too much vertical length on her back leg. And when it's this close, it's a little adjustment or a slight adjustment. So it's my feeling that if, to pick up these two lines going towards the back, if she scooped just a little bit, like a 1/4 of an inch here, okay, that's going to pick those lines up about a 1/4 of an inch. All right, so that's the first thing I would do. But what that does is it takes a 1/4 of an inch currently above the crotch right here, and it puts it below the crotch. So basically you're scooping and you're picking up the fabric. So now you've got an extra 1/4 of an inch up here now. It's gone from here because we scooped down. So now it's up here above the crotch. So to maybe get this if this horizontal balance line in the back, if it was drawn correctly, to make that come down, then the other thing I would do here is I would pleat out a little bit. So here we did a 1/4. Here what I would do, and I would do it like right where I'm drawing actually. This is going to turn into a big fat mess. But basically I think I would pleat out, I'm just going to color it in here, a 1/2 inch, okay, because we added a 1/4, and then I think if we pull it down another 1/4 in addition to the one that we added, that would maybe level that up. So the way you would do that is you literally would slash on the line, make yourself a pivot, and then push that down. Okay, and what that's going to do is it's going to bring the line at center back down that little bit. And I think that might help where the hip line is pulling up at the back. Okay, and then the other thing too is, if you could imagine the side seam. So now if I were to just draw, I'm just going to draw on a piece of blank paper here. Hold on. Draw that side view here. So it kind of goes like this, you know, something like this. All right, so, you know, if the side seam is going towards the back, like it's shown, it will straighten out the side seam. Okay, so the side seam being slightly pointing to the back may be doing that because of the extra length back here, which we just got rid of by scooping down a little bit and then pleating out a 1/2 inch there. So let me know if anybody has any questions about that. But that's one thing that you can do for that. Now the other thing I want to show here in the back, oh, from the side, you can see that this student really doesn't have a prominent behind. She has sort of an average behind, and from the front you can see she doesn't really have a lot of hip curve near the waist. Now the reason why I'm pointing those things out is because in the back, the grain line is getting pretty close to the center back seam, and sometimes wrinkles can be caused because the angle of that center back seam is to your back, and I'm just going to draw it so it's close so I can show you here. Okay. Um, this, having it be really close, or even at, sometimes if you're very curvy, if you have a lot of high hip over here, and if you have a prominent behind,